A New Ending, inspired by the art of Aubrey Beardsley. Our story today didn't really begin, for this morning continued the way things had been. On a cliffside between the pink sun and the sea, two brothers were picnicking under a tree. Jean-Claude lived in shadow. From birth he'd been blind. But Pierre read him fiction, so flashes could dance in his mind. They ventured through epics and legends and quests, and the textured scenes Genevieve penned were the best, with sensuous revelries, elegant feasts, and devilish beauties and heavenly beasts, insensitive jesters and clever disguises, obsession and treasures and pleasures of all lengths and sizes. Genevieve, sighed Jean-Claude, weaves such masterful magic, but why must her romances always be tragic? Could one of her narratives end with a kiss? When Pierre checked the shelves, there was nothing like this. So you then, Jean-Claude said, make up a new ending. I can't, sighed Pierre. I've no sense for inventive pretending. Yet Pierre felt deep down that he knew Genevieve. If she heard Jean-Claude's wish, then he truly believed she would sigh for this kid in his prism of night, and she'd write him a vision to live in, so vivid and bright. Pierre pickled peppers and eggs for Jean-Claude, put some pears in his pockets, and ventured abroad. He walked for a month or a morning or year, found a city so wondrously weird, he thought, she must be here. Asked a fidgety man, does she live near or far? He was slapping his arm, give me cash, or that pretty guitar. He ran to her mansion, and there on the door was a plaque, I don't answer to fans anymore. So nimbly he climbed to her chimney and slid to the living room. Someone laughed. Look at this kid. Like all of the letters you've thrown in the fire have gummied together in one smoky squire. This was Anna, her manager, personal trainer, house cat and attorney on permanent winter retainer. They tubbed him and scrubbed him and rubbed him down dry. He was fed, rested, dressed. Anna led him outside. I can't go, he said. I must bring hope to my friend, who sees only the world as it flows from her pen. She sighed, yes, we get letters, blank checks, even I've tried my best, yet can't get her to let love survive. She just says happy ends can't be begged for or bought, so I'm sorry to tell you this quest is for naught. But you're young, you've come far, and it's too dark for leaving. Come be our +1 at Salon for the party this evening. They gave him some old monkey's clothes to put on and paraded him into the fragrant salon. That's salon in the sense of a French social gathering, yet by coincidence haircuts were happening. Admiring the finery, wide-eyed Pierre bumped a guy who was snipping an heiress's hair. Little ape, cried the stylist in rage, what you're doing defaced my creation, misshapen, it's ruined my great reputation, courageous career, down the drain. And the guest said, oh Remy, don't fear, you've no blame in this train wreck, your name is safe here. No one cared but Pierre, as the heiress, embarrassed, fled Paris in tears. Next morning he touched Genevieve. Come outside, feel the sunshine. She mumbled, it's useless, I've tried, I've no place in the sun. He said, yet the princesses in all your adventures have quests and spring dresses. The source of their strength is within you, deep down. This she pondered at length, found a wig and a gown. So I'm Carrie, and you'll be Prince Tom in our play. And she dressed him in pink with a sky-blue toupee. Pierre, who had thought that he couldn't imagine, was scared, yet attracted. He wanted to act in this pageant. As they shared books of verse in the shade of a tree, he said, Carrie, it's perfect, the bread, wine, and thee. Couldst thou picture eternity wedded together? She murmured, how sweet thy breath, yet only death is forever. The days slipped away as they played, yet the game always ended the same, blame, regret, pain, and shame. And the syrupy swirl of Salon every night, then she'd put him to bed, light a candle, and write. Arising at daybreak, he'd read the new chapter, but no chance of happiness. Tragedy loomed ever after. He pictured Jean-Claude, whom he terribly missed, on the silent cliffs staring into the abyss. Was there any achievement Pierre could bring home he so needed to leave him so long there alone? There was something else, too. It entangled his mind, like a bramble in sweet sticky bloom. Could he leave this behind? Part 2. One day, Genevieve had to go see the dentist, so he got to be Anna's legal apprentice. Attorneys contended and strutted the course to settle on injuries, wills, and divorce. With his nimble assistance, she crushed an opponent, then gazed in the distance at some non-negotiable moment. Oh, if you could have met her when she was naive, the fairest, most tender was young Genevieve. She was cherished, so many requests for a marriage, said yes please to Remy, the best of hairdressers in Paris. Once wed, she learned Remy was not as he seemed. He was selfish and jealous and monstrous and mean, and her tender requests only made him more rough. Then he went away, sad to say not far enough. At salon every night he again breaks her heart, telling friends that he'd never been honest with her from the start. She tried hairstyles and hats for the party that night, till Pierre sighed 900 and none are quite right. In Remy's dark shadow, see, everything's dim. You'll never be ready if dressing for him. And your readers are sad and your heroes can't win and your magic adventures are ended before they begin. He led her outside. After all Remy's done, you're still strong, but he's won if you give up your place in the sun. They arrived right at 7, and Remy was there. Genevieve hit him over the head with a chair. She fervently kicked him down there several times, saying words that we've not learned from nursery rhymes. I teach my young readers that love is in vain to prepare them for marriage or spare them the pain. My poor character's doomed to the pills and the noose. But why am I the accomplice who spreads your abuse? Shall a child without sight, whom I've not even met, cry at night because I haven't dealt with you yet? You're a terrible cook and an arrogant crook, selling looks that you took from American books. He trembled, defenseless, then crawled out the door, left for Texas, and never was mentioned at all anymore. As she cuddled Pierre at his bedtime, she knew that he wouldn't be there when she'd get up at 2. And yet he had left her the most precious gift, for a pressure long felt in her chest had been lifted. She opened the drapes. Anna bundled her hair. Then they went to a place in the sun, spent the day hunting bears. Pierre journeyed homeward. At last he returned, and he clapped as Jean-Claude chirped the bird calls he'd learned. Then he bought the new novel and sat with his brother to read Genevieve's latest chronicle, cover to cover. The story was florid, voluptuous, glorious, horrors were thwarted, and love was victorious. Semi, the imp, got a kick in the chin, and the grim, dark abyss couldn't win, for the princess was lit from within. As soon as the end of the story was read, "Hurry up," said Jean-Claude, "there's adventure ahead. With this ending our legend begins. Follow me." Pierre asked, "Can you lead in a world you can't see?" Jean-Claude laughed. "Look, I'm not handicapped, I'm just blind, and there's happily after out there only travelers can find." Pierre couldn't go back to the way he had been, but he'd learned to imagine, and that's how his story at last could begin. Aubrey Beardsley's work, well, I can't quite find the right words to say about it. And that's why it popped into my head when I asked myself what illustrator I wish I could create a story with. He has not been available for collaboration for many years, so many that his works have become public property. So I examined hundreds of Beardsley's drawings, selecting and sequencing a few of them to make a visual story. Then I developed characters with pain and longing, and I wrote this text. And if you're wondering where you've seen Aubrey Beardsley before, he's right there in the top left. This story, with uncut and additional illustrations, can be found in the book Other Stories, 4 Mature Fairy Tales, available as an oversized glossy paperback. The book also contains stories inspired by the artwork of Walter Crane, Warwick Goebel, and Gustave Doré. And if you haven't checked it out yet, the Sarcastic Enchantress, a cautionary fairy tale inspired by the illustrations of Frank C. Papé, is available as a hardcover and paperback on Amazon and also as a YouTube series. Thank you.